As we celebrate the 5th anniversary of Amsterdam Drone Week, we embark on a reflective journey through the remarkable evolution of air mobility. From niche gadgets to pivotal breakthrough tools, drones are reshaping industries, emergency services, and our daily lives, showcasing human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of advancement. Reflecting on the past, we're reminded of the automobile's early days in the late 19th century, when red flag laws symbolized the cautious integration of groundbreaking technology. These laws required a person to wave a red flag in front of moving vehicles that were driving at a speed level of 5 kilometers per hour, mirroring the uncertainties of embracing new breakthroughs. Today, air mobility navigates its own red flag laws. Amsterdam Drone Week celebrates the boundless possibilities air services bring, echoing the cautious yet inevitable embrace of breakthrough innovations. Drones capable of flying long distances epitomize the relentless pursuit of technological breakthroughs. Yet, they often must land multiple times due to varying international regulations, a modern echo of the early days of aviation's regulatory challenges. This scenario underscores the need for harmonized regulatory frameworks to fully unleash the potential of drones and air mobility services across borders. Amsterdam Drone Week stands as a beacon for the air mobility community, industry leaders, and policymakers, celebrating our progress and envisioning the future. In just 5 years, we've transitioned from cautious optimism to bold breakthroughs forward. A pinnacle of these achievements is Wisk's historic first flight in controlled airspace without an onboard pilot, guided from the ground. This milestone not only showcases advanced capabilities, but also symbolizes a breakthrough in breaking barriers, paving the way for future unmanned flights. Equally transformative is the deployment of medical drones in Africa, where they deliver vital supplies to remote communities. These drones are lifelines, overcoming geographical barriers and revolutionizing healthcare delivery, ensuring no community is left behind. This achievement marks another breakthrough in using technology for humanitarian benefits. As we celebrate the 5th anniversary of Amsterdam Drone Week, we honor the journey of air mobility. From overcoming red flag laws to achieving groundbreaking milestones and breakthroughs, like the first electric air taxi, the Volocopter, leading the way in urban air mobility. With certifications from EASA and the Luftfahrtbundesamt, we're very close to building, certifying and launching the Volocopter to market in Europe in 2024. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Here's to the future, to the pioneers pushing boundaries, and to a world where air mobility continues to break barriers and create new breakthrough opportunities. Together, we soar towards a brighter tomorrow.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful to be here. I can't see how far I need to go back just to see how many people are actually gathered. In this beautiful city of Amsterdam, even when it's raining outside, it's delightful at least. It invites you all here. So it's wonderful to be here. My name is Munish Khurana. I work for Eurocontrol, and we're in the business of supporting European aviation by looking after the safety of air navigation. We work with our partners very closely like EASA, SGU, European Commission, the Defense Agency, and so on. I'd like to welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen, to the Amsterdam Drone Week 24. A special welcome to all the partners, speakers, delegates, and guests in this special edition with the Global Air Mobility Conference and the co-location to Intertraffic. Intertraffic indeed is the largest traffic management and mobility show in the world. Before I kick off the opening, I'd just like to ensure that you're all comfortable for the next hour or so, because we're going to talk to a few people. I'd like to first call upon stage my first two guests. Paul Riemens, the CEO of RAI Amsterdam, please, if you'd like to take a seat, and Mr. Luc Titkaart from EASA. Gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you for being here. How does it feel? It's good? It's wonderful here. Look, may I first start with you, perhaps? This is a special edition, special occasion for you, because you're here on behalf of the new Executive Director of EASA, Florian Guillemet. So thank you very much for being here. Why is it so important for EASA to participate in this event? What's so special about it?
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Extremely happy to be here with you today, and I think for the fifth time, I mean, it was mentioned, I mean, we are celebrating an important day, birthday, so since the beginning, it has been very important for EASA to connect with the sector, and I think this is probably the new way of working when we deal with technologies we don't know and we want, or we are asked to certify. So being exposed to such an event when we see concrete things and also we can talk, we can exchange, we can have also lessons learned. Yeah. This is extremely important. Yeah. And that's really one of the main advantage we are having from organizing with RAI and ADW here these circumstances that we are learning from the sector. And we hope that we can also bring the sector on what is coming on the regulatory side. Yeah.
Excellent. Lessons learned, sharing, coordinating with stakeholders. Paul, for you, this moment is almost tradition, really, isn't it? This is the 5th live edition, and I know there was one online edition during COVID days as well. Why is ADW important for you? What does it bring for you?
Well, it all started because of friendship in aviation. Yeah. I told that in the past few years. However, if you see the past few years, you know, the industry has dramatically changed. And if you look to the RAI is a platform for many industries in the world. And what you see is that the world meets Amsterdam in the RAI and vice versa. Now, if you look to our portfolio, it's all about our industries and the necessary transformation towards a sustainable future of these industries. Whether it's agriculture, whether it's health or energy, mobility is a very important component. We have the intertraffic, and I'll come back on that later, which has a global presence, not only in Amsterdam, but also Mexico and China. And what we see is that mobility is not only the automotive industry, and the legacy of the RAI started with the automotive and bicycles. So the RAI is seeking for cutting-edge technology towards the future, and try to play a role just to push industries forward, to innovate, and to work towards a sustainable future.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. So EASA brings knowledge, lessons learned, sharing them, and Amsterdam RAI offers a platform and also a catalyst to move things forward. Now, back to you, Luke. Now, Paul mentioned the importance in his opening response, how they bring people together, bring cities together, bring regions together. Since the beginning, ADW is addressing this topic, and this year we see active participation from people from all over the world, including all the cities where a number of events are going to take place, like Paris, Osaka, Hamburg region, California region, Dubai. How does EASA interact with cities and regions?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think coming from cross-border services or continental type of vehicles going to the cities, municipalities, it's really a challenge. However, what we have tried to do when we are designing our new rules for all categories of drones, it has been always designed having in mind who will be the ultimate regulator to ensure that it is properly implemented. And getting a rule which is not understandable by municipalities which are not necessarily aviation champions, we are and we have to be cautious on our way we accompany the regulation by material, which is understandable, including what we have seen through a survey, the importance on the impact on citizens. When you are flying in a city or you're close to a city, you need to see that, I mean, the impact is completely different. And when we have started to design the safety certification, we have on board immediately, of course, the noise impact. And we have been also providing the way to qualify if a drone would be accepted by a municipality or not, depending on the level of noise for which would have been certified. But another element is that also the complexity of the regulatory framework we have been tabled has to be assisted also. And we are now starting to open tools, IT tools, web-based tools, to make all the material available to municipalities and cities to understand what is the context they will be using, they should be using before authorizing drone operations, even air taxi operation in a dedicated city. And this is where the knowledge, there is an echo on my side. Okay. The certification conditions and the conditions to fly drones in a city must be also explained to cities and municipalities. This is very important for the buying and acceptability of this new, because your question is very much linked to also how it will be accepted by people to be overflowed by a new type of birds, which are completely different.
Thank you, Luc. Yeah, extremely important. I'd say probably the most important stakeholders in the entire ecosystem are the communities, the people, the cities. Anything we do, we need to make life easy for them. And therefore, social embracement is really priority number one. Back to you, Paul. Now, this year, there's something new here. This year, you've got Global Air Mobility Conference that you organize with the ICAO and the Dutch Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management. And it's actively supported by EASA and FAA. What's the reason for this approach? Well,
if you see the individual developments and the dynamics in, let's say, every part of the world, every region has its own, I would say, culture, but also its own dynamics. Europe is completely different than the US or the Far East or the Asian Pacific. And in discussions with industry, they immediately come back, listen, if we want to be a global player for producing certain functionalities, you know, the infrastructure needs to be standardized to a certain extent. And we have learned from the past in aviation, you know, the landscape is now totally different. I think when I started in aviation, there were global players that were quite dominant and were state-owned. And what you currently see in the current landscape is that the diversity is so big and so huge that a global framework is even more important. And I think this week, and we try to do that not only in Amsterdam, but also in China and Mexico, and probably also in Singapore. We discussed that yesterday evening. We really tried to push this forward, and that's why I'm very glad that the Dutch ministry, together with ICAO, having a lot of experience in that domain, because I tell you, 140 countries getting in the same direction is not an easy task, especially when the dynamics are so, I would say, volatile.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you. So really the motive here is trying to bring harmonization across the regions. So thank you. Now, back to you, Luc. Then, in terms of the first edition of the ADW, now EASA introduced the drone rules, the regulations, including use space. Last year, the EU Drone Strategy 2.0 was released, and now the new regulations, particularly on the specific category, are launched. How do you expect these specific air mobility operations will take off, and can we expect the first operations this year, or maybe the next?
Yeah, you are right. I think we start 5 years ago. I think we are now covering with our regulatory framework. We developed in support of this drone strategy the open category, we have specific categories, and now in a few days in the EU official journal you will discover the certified category regulatory framework, which include the innovative air mobility, what so-called air taxi. And this is quite, I think, a sign that if we were so quick, it's because we are detecting, of course, there is an industry which wants to create the market or to access the market or to offer new types of services. The last thing we want is that as regulator, we are an obstacle to enter the market. So we have always tried to anticipate what is the business asking from the regulator in order to enable the deployment of the regulation. Yes, 2024, it's a sort of magic year. We have seen also in the video here, we cannot, of course, predict anything because it's not depending on us.
No.
We are an enabler. We are enabling industry to develop their market, their business. It's up to industry now to respond to the requirements we have set up.
Sure.
So, but we are certainly optimistic about the appetite of industry to be quickly there, to see that it is a safe, it's a green, it's secured, new type of mobility. And let's see what will happen. We are only in April, a few more months before end of the year. So, but from what we see from here as a perspective, we see nice things going on now. Yeah.
So there's optimism in the air. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Yeah. Last question to you, Paul. Now, the aim of ADW is to build the air mobility ecosystem, you highlighted earlier as well, by creating and enhancing valuable connections, and you highlighted the role that you play worldwide. What can we expect this week and in the future for ADW?
If you see our mission is right, you know, it's all about connecting people, industries, communities to something this community needs. Right. So what we see is that with our global vision and global thinking, it's important to act local. So the RAI is going to play a role to bring all parties together and to drive change into this industry. Now, if you look to the RAI, it's of course a platform, but we also try to be a multi-model hub in our environment. So we try to build with that ecosystem a network where global air mobility is possible.
Right.
The Amsterdam Drone Week is of course very important as, I would say, some sort of a heart that is bouncing all the time. Now for the next coming days, we keep on doing that on let's say the bigger levels, like the Global Air Mobility Conference. But I'm also happy that, let's say, the sea-level air taxi are present, and they are going to launch that this year. Paris are going to have flights with air mobility. Same thing for next year in Osaka and Dubai. So this is, I think, very important that these people also are, I would say, an inspiration to this change. So you will. And I'm very glad that before the COVID crisis, we had UAV Expo where the manufacturer part, drones and functionalities were here and co-located. And I'm very happy to announce that next year UAV Expo will be present here again. So I think when we look to the audience here, you know, things are growing into the right direction, I would say. And this is, I think, a very important token for this change.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much, Luc. Thank you for your time and sharing with us your vision from your organizations.
Thank you
very much.